Right. All right, guys. As you guys know, in this live stream here, you can tell by the art photo and the title of it, a tribute to Chuck Norris. He passed away at the age of 86 on March 20th. I know there was two other people that passed away. Jamie Blanks, director of Valentine and Urban Legend, and Nicholas Brandon from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a TV show that stars Sarah Michelle Gellar. Just honorable mentions here, but Chuck Norris was the one that was really a big part of me growing up. I remember all the action movies of the 80s, Chuck Norris himself, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, all that stuff was a lot of fun. I mean, I could not tell you. I could not tell you the first movie that I seen of Chuck Norris. I know the Missing in Action movies I had seen when I was a kid. Wasn't a big fan of those. Just last night, if you guys go on Tubi, type Chuck Norris's name in there, you can find quite a few of his movies. I did watch the 1979 film A Force of One. If you guys are horror fans, you'll notice that there's two horror icons in that. You have Clu Gulder, who plays the main detective, and then you have Charles Cypers that plays like a scientist. He has a very small role in it, but it was really cool seeing the two of them in a movie with Chuck Norris. Never thought that would ever happen. So, yeah. So, I mean, I looked at 86 is a good long life, a good long life. I remember when I seen Way of the Dragon. That was with Bruce Lee. It was before Enter the Dragon. When I found out that Chuck Norris was in that, he was the main villain. I was like, whoa! I mean, this is really cool. This is really epic. And they had that big fight near the end of the film in Way of the Dragon at the Coliseum. I thought that was really, really, really cool. I mean, it's. You look at like these martial art actors, you go from, Chuck Norris himself here, you go from Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal. Of course, you get like to the newbies, like, well, I wouldn't say he's a newbie, like Jackie Chan, and you get Jet Li, then you get Tony Jaa and stuff like that. And then you get, what's his name? The Atkins guy, Scott Atkins. You get guys like that. And I believe Jason Statham knows some martial arts, and you got Michael Jai White as well. You get all these newbies in there and stuff too. And it's like the ones that really stood out to me, they had the more serious tone to them was Chuck Norris and Steven Seagal. I know Steven Seagal, for some reason, he did not like Van Damme for some reason. I'm not going to get into all that, but I mean, just the way both, Chuck Norris and Steven Seagal carried themselves, I really liked. Chuck Norris, I was more of a fan of than Van Damme's. Van Damme, the only good movie that Van Damme to me that he ever made, it actually was three of them, but the one being Bloodsport and Kickboxer, and then if you want to count the 1994 adaptation of the Street Fighter video game movie, that was pretty good. He didn't really do much in there as fighting though, but he had some scenes in there where he fought. But I'm going to name you a couple of my favorite Chuck Norris films. The Octagon from 1980. That's also on Tubi. I just love that one. It's one of my favorite ones. Of course, A Force of One, which I just recently saw last night. That's another favorite of mine. Then you have Lone Wolf McQuade that stars, also alongside Chuck Norris. You have Dana Kimball, who was Chris in Friday the 13th Part 3. And then you have David Carradine, who was came off of the Kung Fu, the series, back in I think it was like the late 70s, and there was another adaptation of that where he came back and played the Kwai Chang Kang in that in the early 90s. But the other one I really liked was the one he did, I believe it was in '93 with the late Jonathan Brandis, which is Sidekicks. That's a real fun one. I really like that. I actually bought that on Fandango, which was formerly Voodoo. So it's when you look at the films that Chuck Norris has done, I mean, you hear about Delta Force, you hear about there's one that Lee from Drum Dums I want to check out. It's called I think it was called Silent Rage. It's about a killer that gets killed but gets reanimated, and Chuck takes him on and stuff like that. And there's like a big battle between him and stuff like that. I want to see that one. Silent. There was another one on there that they had. I'm trying to think what the heck it was called. I know the two Delta Force. I think one or two of the Delta Force movies are on Tubi you can watch. But yeah, I mean, Walker Texas Ranger. Let's not forget about that one, guys. That was a TV show. I remember that back in the day watching that. I wasn't a big avid watcher of Walker Texas Ranger, but I remember that him coming with the lawn duster, the cowboy hat, and stuff like that. And he was really kicking butt on that show. So, just some great stuff that he had put out there. Personally, like I said, going back to it all, who was my favorite martial art actor of all time? It was Chuck Norris all the way around, because he had the better movies. I know there's a lot of Van Damme fans out there, but I mean, Van Damme, to me only had 3 great films. Only 2 of them really displayed his martial arts skills to the best, and number 1 was Bloodsport. But yeah, I like the way Chuck carried himself on and off screen and stuff like that. It seemed like he was a very genuine guy, and just very, very relaxed, very, very calm and stuff like that. I mean, you don't find people like that too much these days, especially in the times we're living in now. But yeah, he definitely was a highlight, is one of the reasons why I also like martial arts, along with Bruce Lee and stuff like that. And I'm not just a horror fan, guys. I like other genres of film, action, and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it seems like 2025. It hit with quite a few big name celebrities passing on, like Tony Todd, Michelle Trachtenberg, which was the one that hit me the hardest because she was a year younger than me. And then now this year, you had Ozzy, you had Hulk Hogan, you had Robert Duvall, Catherine O'Hare. Trying to think off the top of my head who else. Of course, we got Chuck Norris, who had recently passed away, and then we had Jamie Blanks and Brandon Nicholson from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Just it's a shame. And also they had Tom Noonan too from Monster Squad. Just a shame. I mean, a lot of these people that we grew up watching are passing, and it's like, what is it going to be like when, Stallone or Schwarzenegger, when they pass, because eventually it's going to happen, but only time will tell when it will happen. But, I used to watch, see commercials and stuff like that with Chuck Norris. I think it was one of the exercise equipments and stuff. And then seeing his training stuff online and stuff like that too, which I think was really, really cool to watch a lot of his stuff. And I think he studied like a Korean martial art, which I think was, I don't know if it was based in like Japan, Japanese or something, but it was like Tang Sudo. I looked it up and stuff like that. Pretty cool stuff, But yeah, I mean, it's I mean, his kids, his wife, family, man. I mean, like I said, it's, they don't, I mean, it's a sad time for them. It's a sad time for us fans, but, hey, we got the movies. These movies are going to last a lifetime. It's Walker Texas Ranger. Like I said, he was, him and Bruce Lee in Way of the Dragon. You got, the Delta Forces, Octagon, the Force of One, I mean, all that stuff. And there's still quite a few films I got to check out of his that I have not even seen. Sidekicks is another fun one of his. But yeah, but further ado, guys, I just wanted to come back on. I just wanted to come on here and do a live stream. I've been doing a lot of gaming, getting back into that a little bit until things get normal around here with the whole repairs that got to be done after the tornado storm. But I said, hey man, let's go on here, go live. Let's talk about Chuck Norris here, and let's just have some good memories about the films. Growing up watching stuff when I was a kid and stuff like that. So it's been fun. It's I'm gonna see about later in the night about watching another one of his that I haven't seen. So I'm really looking forward to that. But without further ado, guys, I will be back here later on today with some more live stream gameplay of Fatal Frame 2 Remake. And this is Fantastic Oracle sign out. Take care and have a great rest of your weekend.